Good afternoon, and welcome to this afternoon's chat. I'm happy to be here, and I trust that you're going to love being here with me. My name is Francine Chirambo, and I'm a relationship coach. My page is Francine Chirambo, and thank you. Okay, I just switched off that music. I love that music from the Winelands. So welcome to this afternoon's chat. Like I said, my name is Francine Chirambo, and thank you very much for joining me. I'm going to be speaking on 3 things, and I hope you stay with me. Tag a friend. I've already posted the topics for the day. Tag a friend if you think they're going to benefit, or share this video. So we'll start by talking about house helpers. I'm going to continue from last week. I spoke about them briefly, but I'm going to continue on that because there's just so much that we can talk about. And then I'm going to speak about the price of lobola. Okay, is it too high? Should a man be helped to pay this lobola? Thank you, Nelly, for joining me. Should a man be assisted? Should a woman pay for this lobola? Okay, so that is what we are going to be talking about this afternoon. And lastly, we are going to speak about pressure in a family if you can't conceive as a couple. Okay, so we have a few people, not a few people, a lot of people that are under pressure when they can't conceive. So we're going to be talking about that. So if anybody is going to benefit from this, please tag them and let them know I'm live. If they want to come online today, I'll be happy to invite anybody that wants to come through and speak live with me. I'll be happy to do that. So we'll kick off by talking about the house helpers. All right, if you've just joined us, welcome. And we have our topics there. Nelly says, good afternoon, coach. Thank you for being here. So last time we spoke about a career woman, and we spoke about a stay-at-home wife. Okay, nowadays we don't want to say a stay-at-home wife, you know, an unemployed wife. We want to call them home managers, home executives. That's what we call them today. So I mentioned that I'm a career woman and I have stayed at home before, so I know how the two work. And I do have a helper. So I've got a bit of experience there. I'm going to share my experience with the kind of helpers that I've had. If you have any experiences, please feel free to share. So I'll kick off by saying, continuing from where we stopped, we said how much work can be delegated to them. So in my video, I explained, I gave a definition of what a house helper does and who a house helper is, so that you will understand what I mean when I get to explain. So simply put, a house helper is somebody that you employ, usually a woman. Some people have employed men. It's usually a woman, and this person is employed to do specific tasks in the home. So you get to define what you want. You have a meeting with them, you explain to them, you give them a job description, basically. So if you want them to cook, you let them know. If you want them to iron, if you want them to wash, if you want them to sweep the house or babysit, that is something that must be discussed earlier on. So some people are having a lot of trouble with their house helpers simply because they did not give them a job description. They just brought them in as somebody that is going to take care of the children or somebody that is just going to sweep, but the job description becomes bigger and then they have trouble. You must be careful. You might be dragged to the Department of Labor. If you're in South Africa, there's a body called the CCMA that they report to as well. Any employee can report to that body. So with that being said, firstly, I think before I invite somebody, Nelly, would you like to join me? Before I invite somebody to join me, I just want to give you some of the comments that I got. I spoke about how you take care of your home and the level of delegation. I mentioned that it depends on your intention, your initial intention. What was it? Why did you bring in a helper to start with? Okay, so this topic is broad, and we're going to speak about some of the aspects that come with employing a helper. So when I did that chat on the helpers, when I had the discussion on helpers, I got some responses in my inbox, and this is what some people have to say. Okay, Hope, I'll invite you soon. So this is what some people have to say about house helpers. Somebody wrote, "Dear woman of God, this issue about maids is a problem. Some women do nothing in their homes. Their helpers do everything. No wonder they end up taking over." So that's a comment from somebody in my inbox. And somebody else writes, "Hi, Auntie Francine. Why should the wife do all the work in the house and the husband just sit after work? I find this to be very unfair." So this is somebody who feels she must be assisted in the house. And somebody else says, "Hi, Francine. I follow your page. Thank you for the encouragement. I have a very good maid. She has worked for us for a while. She does everything in the house. She is a blessing." Here is somebody appreciating her helper. So it also depends on how you treat them. Okay. And then somebody else writes, "Hi, woman of God. Can you allow, let me see. This is a question. Hi, woman of God. Can you allow the maid to make your bed and wash your underwear?" Okay, in my video last time, I spoke about certain things that the helper can help you with and certain things that you must do on your own. Some things are really private. When you get to have a helper wash your underwear, then everything about you is known. But again, as I mentioned, it is up to you. And then this person says, "Thank you, Mom Francine, for the work you are doing. May the Lord bless you. Thank you so much for that." And lastly, somebody said, of course, I received a number of them, but I thought I could just share a few of them. "Hi, Sis Francine. I was taught to concentrate more on pleasing my husband in bed. The rest can be delegated." So this is somebody's opinion of house helpers. So when we say a woman is a house, no. When we say a woman is a homemaker, we are not saying she is a house helper. Okay, there's a difference between that. She simply needs to be organized. That is what we mean. When you are a homemaker, you need to be organized. In that, we're talking about issues. I'll start by the kitchen, for instance. When you have food, it needs to be stocked, and you need to know where the outfits are. You need to know you just need to know what is happening in your own environment without going so much into that. So, hi Willie, thank you for joining us. So we're talking about house helpers and how much work can be delegated to them. So in our last chat, we defined and we spoke about people that are living in different locations. We spoke about career women and people that are staying at home. We spoke about how a couple feels about delegating work. So that is what we are continuing with today. So I have read some responses from my inbox, and so let's hear. Nelly, are you ready to come in? Hi, Mwape. That is Mwape's mom, Mwangala. Hi, Mwangala. Okay, Nelly has just gone off. She had wanted to participate. If you would like to participate, this afternoon, I would like to invite you to join me in the video. Just let me know. Type in the comments if you want to comment while I'm live, and I will invite you. Just let me know. So we're speaking about house helpers and how much work can be delegated to them. So, okay, a lot of people like talking about the Proverbs 31 woman. We all want to refer to that one. And for some reason, the people that like sharing that scripture ignore the part which says, I want to find the actual verse so that you can refer to it, but it's Proverbs 31. It says, she wakes up very early in the morning. She cooks, or she gets some spiritual food. In the Amplified Bible, actually, if you look at the Amplified Bible, the classic version, okay, Nelly, you're back. Can I zoom you in? So in this AMPC, the classic edition Bible, it talks about the woman waking up very early in the morning, which is good, which is perfect, which is what we teach as counselors, which is what I have been taught, so that you can just maintain order. Can you just imagine the chaos? If you as a woman wakes up at 11 and you have small children, they need to go to school and the house needs to be clear. I mean, there just won't be order. That's the reason. But she also wakes up to get some spiritual food. And then she apportions tasks to her helpers. That's what I wanted to emphasize on. So most of the time, the last part where it says she gives tasks to the helpers is usually ignored, okay? But it shouldn't be that way, all right? It means that the fact that she gives tasks to her helpers, it means that she has helpers. She doesn't even have one. She has more than one helper. So what is important here is that you are on top of things as the owner of the house, as the madam of the house. You are in charge. Nobody must be in charge of that home. This is the bottom line. So when you look at the Proverbs 31 woman, she's basically in charge. Okay, that's the main point. So I just want to get you back. I want to invite you. Where do I do that? I'm doing this for the first time, but I know there's that facility where I can invite somebody to come through and just give their own points about the helper. Where is that button? I'm trying to look for it. I can't find it. I can't find it, but I know it should be there. Okay. If I get it, Nelly, if I get it, I'm going to invite you. I'll feed it. I'll get to that. I'll make sure that I feed it. Okay, so welcome if you have just joined us. We're talking about helpers, continued from last week, where we spoke about how much we can delegate to them. So do you have a helper? Tag a friend who has a helper or who would like to know about this. So I'll just tell you a little bit about my encounter with them. I've had good and I've had bad ones. The one that I have currently is really a good person and I can't complain. She's been wonderful to us and she's been a blessing. I speak like the way somebody else responded in my inbox who said that they have a wonderful help and they feel she's a blessing. Mine too is a blessing, but I've had monsters of helpers. I've had monsters that have wanted to look like me, okay? And I've had helpers that have wanted to, let me tell you about one who stole my ring. Okay, so on our 10th anniversary, my husband bought me a ring and it was a wonderful ring. And I have a habit of taking off my ring, especially when I'm working. I don't want to, it feels tight on me sometimes. And that ring was a little bit tighter. Maybe I had become a bit bigger. But I preferred when I was washing the dishes, it was pure gold anyway, so it wasn't going to fade, but it was a choice. I just preferred that when I did anything, I put it on the table. So I had left it somewhere and it was a long weekend. The next day when I was looking for it, my helper had left. She had gone on a long weekend. Family helped me to look for it. We looked for the ring, we couldn't find it. And on a Monday when she returned, I think it was a Monday or a Tuesday, she returned, and there was the ring on the table. So we wondered where it had been. And I really felt I shouldn't wear the ring. You know, I'm a prayerful woman. I prayed even then. But at that point, I just felt it wasn't for me. I wasn't going to wear that ring because my ring had left my home and I didn't know where it went. This person was much smaller than me, so she wasn't going to take it for herself. So whatever she took that ring for, I have no idea. So I decided I wasn't going to wear it. To cut the long story short, my husband bought me another ring and I had to put that ring away. So those are some of the things that you can encounter. And we've had people that have come and they just leave without giving you notification, and you come from work and there's nobody at home and they haven't stolen, but they just gone. So those kind of things that we're talking about. But the question today is not so much of how what they are doing to us, but how much work can be delegated to them. Let me try again. Let me try to see if I can find this again. No, I can't. Okay, I'll have to check. I'll have to check again. I'll have to check again where I should actually go to invite you. But anyhow, so that's it on helpers. I wanted Nelly to come in and give me her view. But kindly leave your comments. I'll be happy to look at them and to read them aloud so that people know what you feel about delegation with house helps. So I'm encouraging everybody that has a helper to take control of their home. You are the one that is supposed to be in charge, not the other way around, okay? And to the men, to the husbands, I would like you to understand that your wife gets tired, okay? So whether your wife stays at home or whether she goes to work, whichever way, they still get tired and they may need help. I mentioned in the previous video that Rebecca was given a helper. Was it a helper or helpers when she got married? She was going to be married to Isaac when Abraham's servant took her from her parents' house. They gave her a helper because the parents understood that where she is going, there's going to be a lot of work. So she was given a helper to help her. There's so much that we need to do in these homes, but we need to be mindful of what we are going to do and how much work we are going to delegate. Okay, so your bedroom is your sanctuary. It's up to you what you want to do. I would advise you to keep it as a sanctuary, as private as you know, as private as possible, you know. So it's really up to you how you're going to do that. But like I always say, I only give advice. I am not imposing anything on anybody. If you feel your helper must wash your pants, that's really your business. That's really up to you. But if I were you, I wouldn't do that. So, yeah, so that's it about helpers. Tag somebody who has a helper or who needs help with, and one thing that I wanted to mention about the issue of helpers. Okay, somebody, when I was tagged in the post, was talking about women who don't even know that the food is finished in the house. Well, if somebody is working, I would understand. But if you have a helper, what's the reason of having that person if they can't alert you? I can give you a tip. I can give you some advice. You can buy yourself a notepad, which you can stick on your fridge. Either your children or your helper, whoever is in the house, can help you. For instance, if they run out of tissue and you are not there, you are working, instead of you know, coming home and finding there's no tissue after a week or so, they should just write it on the fridge. So every time you're in the kitchen, you'll be able to see that there's actually no tissue. Okay, I've run out of tissue, I've run out of sugar. So whoever is looking out for something and find that it's out of stock must just write it down and leave it on the fridge for you to see. That is going to be much easier for you. So that's a tip. So that's it about helpers. I'm sure I will come back because this topic is broad and it requires a lot, you know, it requires being discussed from different angles. I know that some people are going to argue with me and it really doesn't matter. I really don't care. I've got an opinion and you've got an opinion. Like I mentioned, I have worked, I'm a career woman, and I have also stayed at home. So I know the intensity of housework, you know. So the second point that I have right now is on lobola. The second point I have right now is on lobola. I spoke about it the past 3 days. I spoke about lobola. If you know somebody that is about to get married, if you know somebody that wants to know anything about this lobola issue or has a comment on lobola, kindly tag them or share this video. It's going to benefit them. So I made 3 posts this week. The first post was on, it was addressing men. The second post was addressing women. And the third post was my opinion after the comments that were given to me and just what I feel. So the first post was talking about men, and let me refer to the scripture that I started with. I used the scripture from Genesis, and that was Genesis, where is that? It's Genesis 29 and verse 20. I didn't want to say a wrong verse so that you can look at it for reference sake. So from the book of Genesis, we see that Jacob wanted to marry Rachel, and unfortunately he was duped. So he got to work seven years, and then after 7 years, he was tricked. He was given Leah, who was older. He preferred Rachel, but he had to work an extra 7 years so that he could have Leah. Now we must listen to this and understand. It's not so much about a parent punishing you or anything, but it's about commitment. What I learned from this is that you learn patience and you also learn endurance. So you as a man, if you want to marry somebody, you have to be patient enough, and you also have to be, you have to have the endurance. So if you can't endure certain conditions, it doesn't look too good, you know, then we begin to understand you in a different way. So that is what I spoke about with men. I was talking about how today a lot of young people are irresponsible. When they are given the price, you know, the bride price, they want to back off. They want to threaten the woman. I can't marry you because your parents want so much. And then they're not willing to try. They're not willing to negotiate. They just want to back off. And out of desperation, we see what the women are doing because they're feeling, okay, this man is going to take off. If I don't, if he doesn't afford to pay for the lobola, then he's going to take off. So it leaves them feeling desperate. So in this instance, Jacob proves that he could endure, he could stay on, and he could still work and still get the woman that he wanted. This is what men should be doing today. And in one of my posts, I actually responded to somebody who said it's commercialized. I understand, and yes, I sympathize with that. If I were to give away my child today, I wouldn't put a tag to that, you know. This lobola issue is actually very symbolic. It doesn't have to be the money that you are given that is now going to build your house, for instance, or to pay off your car. It doesn't work like that. There are a lot of problems associated with that kind of charging. So if you charge somebody a lot of money, in the end, it's the woman who's going to suffer even in that home, because the man will feel he's entitled, he's bought himself a slave girl. It's not right. But anyway, that is something that parents of today, I'm a parent and I've got children, and if you are a parent, you've got children, they'll get married one day. This is something that we must be mindful about. The parents of old did it in a different way. They didn't ask for too much. And then all of a sudden, people thought, oh, wow, we can commercialize this, we can do this and that. Then they started charging something way beyond, you know, ridiculous costs, which is not so good. But then, okay, the second post that I made is, the first post I made was addressing men. The second post I made was addressing women. And I was speaking to the women and asking them not to pay the lobola, to give money to the boyfriend so he can pay lobola for them. I truly believe that this is a mockery to the parents. So your parents sit around with uncles and aunties and they're excited. They come up with a figure, okay? And they're waiting for this man to come and pay. So you, in your own thinking, you're feeling you are clever. You are cleverer than, you know, or more clever than your parents, and you get your own money and you give to this man to pay. Who does that? Okay. It looks normal right now, but I can assure you it's going to cost you in the future. That man must have enough pride in himself to say, I am committing to this woman, you know. So when you begin to bail out your husband to be, even before he's your husband, believe me, you will have to bail him out most of the time, because nowadays we are seeing a lot of irresponsible men. Women are crying that the husband can't even buy bread, you know, the husband can't even do anything in the home. What is the case? Sometimes it's starting off from small issues like this. You go behind your parents and then you give him money, and then he comes posing that this is the money that he has worked for. Meanwhile, he hasn't worked for it. It's not even his. He doesn't even care. At some point, when you have problems in the marriage, he'll come up and tell you, you know what? I didn't even pay for you. You just paid for yourself. So that's a problem in itself. So that was the second point that I made. And the third post that I made, I think it was yesterday, I said, any woman who decides to provide funds to the boyfriend so he can pay lobola for her must just go for free. You know, she must just be given away for free. To me, that's what it means. Your parents mustn't even worry. They mustn't even sit around and discuss. If you are going to pay, it's your money. It's your parents' money anyway, because they are coming from their home. They are the ones that took you to school, brought you up, and did everything else. The best you can do is to give your parents that kind of respect as you leave your home. Okay? So my point is that if you are going to take your own money and give to this man to pay for you, you can as well just go for free. Just let your parents release you for free. That was my point. Okay, welcome if you have just joined us. I just spoke about house helpers and continued from our previous chat. And in that session, this is not a session, this is a chat. Anyhow, we were talking about how much work can be delegated to the house helpers. And I also made a differentiation between the good and the bad. Sometimes you may end up with a bad one who has her own way of thinking and comes into your home with an agenda to kick you out. You need to watch and pray. Okay, literally watch and pray. So, and then I went on to talk about the issue at hand. I'm still receiving comments on the lobola issue. So the question here is that, is the lobola too high for the men, or should the woman help the husband? Yes, the lobola is too high. I have seen it. I remember my brother was charged, I think that's about 10 years ago. I'm not sure, but I think he had to pay about 20,000 rands or something like that. But he didn't mind. He was happy. He loved his wife. He was happy. He paid all of it before they got married. He paid. So I know you can pay. So anyhow, that's it. I wanted to find out, what do you call it in your culture? And is it still important? Is it something that we can still do, or is it something that you can do away with? Kindly give me your comments if you feel it is still important to have the lobola, the bride price for. Is it still okay? Is it still valid? Is it still important that this person that wants to marry you should pay your parents a token? Actually, it's a token of appreciation. Okay, so don't look at it as they want to get money out of you. Though some parents are dubious, they are doing that. They are waiting for their children. They have 7 children, and for each one, they are going to charge 50,000 rands, and they're going to buy their farm, and they're going to retire in peace. And it's such a shame. So it's okay. It's okay to charge, but how much is reasonable? And I also mentioned that with reference to Genesis chapter 29 and verse 20, where Jacob had to pay for Leah and he had to pay for Rachel, it took him 14 years. It teaches patience and it teaches endurance. So if you are about to get married, you are under pressure because you've been charged so much, I pray that you will learn to be hardworking, that you will learn to be patient, and that you will endure what this is about. You're going to have a good time in that home. Okay, so I received a number of interesting comments regarding the lobola, which I thought I could share with you. I'm not even sure what's the time now. I'm not even sure if I have enough time. Okay. So yeah, I do have some time, and I see I still have some people that are still with me here. Hi, Priscilla. Thanks for joining. So I just want to look at some of the comments that I was given when it came to lobola. There was somebody that actually said, I've forgotten his name, but he says he has he's white, and his fiance, his wife to be, is black, and he has just been charged. How much? He says it's not so much. I think he mentioned something about 100 rands or 200 rands or somewhere there, and he was asked to pay just like 2,000 rands towards the food that they need to eat on that day. I suppose it's the day when they sit and they meet to deliberate on the lobola issue. So he's wondering why some parents are selling their children. He says he's so excited, he is happy, and he will pay, and he's looking forward to this ceremony. Okay, so that was one of the comments. And then I had somebody else that really argued that it's not right for the man to pay alone. The woman must also pay something. I don't know if I'll be able to open this. So yeah, he was saying, let me quickly just find that. So basically he was saying the woman must chip in. Why should a woman chip in? As if she's marrying herself. He's marrying her, so he must pay. So this man is adamant. He says the woman must help. Okay, you can help indirectly if you are married. If you are not in that home, you can't even help to pay for the mortgage. So if you are talking about a woman helping to pay for the mortgage, then it means you're already staying together. So I don't know how it's going to work. How are you going to sign off the mortgage if you are not married? It has to be in both your names. So if it's a case where somebody paid partly and they've agreed with the family that they're going to continue paying, and the woman gets into the home and starts buying the groceries so the man can finish paying off, that's another case. But today what is happening is that most churches don't want anybody to be married off if he hasn't finished paying for the lobola, because parents have complained. The men marry the women and they don't finish paying. Okay, so that's the case. I can't find that post, and I'm just trying to see, where is that post? Yeah, I want to read the post where the man was responding. Yeah, there it is. I have quite a number of responses. But this person says, I think we should stick to the word of God. Yes, we can have opinions. However, the word of God has the final say. Let us look at the very first marriage in the Garden of Eden. Adam did not pay for Eve. He did not even make an animal sacrifice for her. In my black finance, okay, he meant to say fiance's culture, they don't sell the bride. Yes, nobody is selling the bride. It's supposed to be symbolic. Somebody says, I don't see any problem in helping your man to pay lobola. Where there is here, I'm not sure what he's trying to say. Automatic trust. I'm not sure what he's trying to say, but he says you should develop that attitude of helping each other even before marriage. My husband to get a passport and travel abroad was because of my family and me. I don't regret ever doing so because we still share the bond we had from the beginning of our relationship. So this is the wife who comes through and says it's okay for you to help each other in this way. You can help him to pay lobola for you. So please, if you think it's okay for a woman to pay lobola, to help her husband to pay lobola, please just do a wow for me, or just type something in the comments so that we can see how many people are for the motion or against it. Somebody says, yes, all things being equal, it would not be practical for a woman to help in the payment of lobola. In such normal circumstances, it wouldn't make sense. But don't underestimate the fact that we live in the age of commercial lobola. This is what I was talking about. So he's bringing out the issue of commercial lobola. Commercial lobola is a killer of new families, and I agree. Even the negotiation, which you mentioned yesterday, never achieves 100% results in front of a greedy parent who believes in charging commercial lobola. A new wife totally disadvantages herself and her new family when she decides to fold her arms when commercial lobola has been charged. Okay, this is the man that has written. This is the man that is speaking. if she's in a gainful employment, the young lady needs to participate. And so he goes on to write that the young woman must participate in paying for her own lobola. Seriously? I don't agree with this one. And somebody says, I want to see the responses on this one. It went back and forth. Somebody says, I do get your point, speaking to the person that wrote about the convention. And I should say I agree to some extent, as the mortgage issue can be taken care of after they are married and obviously by mutual agreement, which any sane woman, if in gainful employment, should be able to agree to. But the point coach is putting across, meaning me, is should a woman get her own money and give to the husband-to-be to pay for either the lobola or even part of it? Is there any pride here for either? Okay, so this went on and on and on and on. Should a woman help her husband to pay for the lobola? I'll tell you what I think. Since I'm not able to bring in people to join me right now, but what I think, what I know, and what I believe in is that a woman must not help her husband to pay. He must pay. She mustn't feel pity for him. Okay, this is the beginning of trouble. And I can tell you that when you're going to bail him out with this lobola issue, the next day he will sit back and he will be playing even the PlayStation. He won't go to work. He will be waiting for you to make a plan. You make a plan with lobola, you expect you to make a plan in future for any other thing. That's one point. And I feel every woman would like to have that sense of pride that, you know what, he paid. My parents charged so much and he paid. It comes with that kind of pride where you really appreciate that, oh, okay, he really desires me. He went out of his way and he paid. And also for the man, what does it do for you? You can't even afford to pay for lobola, surely, you know, that is unacceptable. You must pay. You must follow the protocol. You want that woman, pay for her, at least, even if you're not going to take care of her. When you get married, she's got her own job. She's going to buy her own things. She's going to buy her own car. But for the lobola, I would say pay for that lobola. You know, people need to value themselves. You need to value yourself as a woman as well. So you're not putting a price tag to yourself, because I would tell you that I don't think anybody, there's any price for anybody. And then somebody, oh, by the way, somebody actually wrote, some women have been sleeping around and some women are not worth it and they want us to pay for them. My question to this man was, if you think that woman is not worth it, what are you doing with her? Why do you want to marry her if you think she's worthless? As long as you want to marry her, then you've seen something in her and you're going to pay. That is what I would say. So if somebody comes and tells me that, no, she's not worth it, what are you doing with her if she's not worth it? So unfortunately, that's the procedure and that needs to be done. Well, I remember that when I was getting married, my mother didn't put a price tag to me. She said to them, she said to the man that came, called Bashibukombe in my culture, they go between man, and she told him that, look, my child is precious and there's really no amount that I'm going to put on her. So I think just she actually said it's better I just marry her off. I'm giving consent, she can get married, but there's really nothing, I don't want money for this. So this man had to negotiate and say, you see, if we don't pay anything, it will look like you are not happy and you have not given consent. So please, can you just give us an amount that we can work around so that we can just formalize it, you know, let's make it symbolic. So, okay, that is how they negotiated. So he didn't have to pay that much. And I do agree that there's really no amount of money that is going to that can really buy me. I don't know about you as a woman, if you can be bought for any amount, but for me, there's really no amount that can be. I have so much value. Ourselves. Enough spoken about the lobola. Okay, so thank you for joining me. If you have just joined me today, I'm talking about helpers, continuing from our previous chats last week. And we are also talking about lobola. Okay, should a man be assisted? Is it important to still pay lobola? And maybe you can even tell us if it was paid for you or if it wasn't paid for you. Perhaps you can even tell us if you would like to charge lobola on your children. Should this practice continue? I say it must continue. So let us know what you think. And so going back to my, have I lost my, yeah, it's there. So the next thing that I want to talk about is the last thing, actually, pressure when you can't conceive. If you know anybody that has been married for a while and they are having trouble, kindly tag them, okay? Tag them or share this video with them. A lot of times we have family and friends interfering. It's not funny. My heart really goes out to people that have been married and have been trying. This is a very sensitive discussion. This is a very sensitive matter, and we need to treat it with a lot of care, because there are some people who have been married for a long time and they have a problem. Okay. So I want to point out to everybody that is listening, you know, when people get married, please, 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 please stop the habit of asking them when they are going to have a child. It's not fair, you know. Sometimes I have been in places where people are joking about these matters. It's not a laughing matter. When somebody can have a child, it's not a laughing matter, okay? People are crying through the night. People have spent so much money. People have done so much so just they can have a child. So what I'm appealing to everybody is that be supportive. Don't laugh at people. Don't poke fun at people who don't have children. There was a time that I attended a baby shower. I think I also made a post on that. And I was actually the program director. So I was talking about, and you know, when you're a program director, you've got so many things that are popping from your mind. And one of the things that came through to my spirit was the issue of Hannah. If you remember Hannah in the book of Samuel, she didn't have a child. She was married to Elkanah. Now, Elkanah also had another wife called Penina or Penina, whatever you pronounce her name as. But Penina was a problem. She was a pain in the neck. She was a thorn in the flesh, you know. So she didn't give Hannah rest. She made sure she poked fun at her. She made Hannah cry. Hannah cried out to God. You can go and read that. So it meant that was a very painful experience for Hannah. Okay. So she prayed on and she prayed on and she believed God. She had a wonderful wife. She had a wonderful husband. Elkanah was a wonderful husband, and it says that he actually gave a little bit more, and you know, he tried to comfort his wife. But you know, these are matters of the heart. He had children with Penina, so the problem there was Hannah's womb had been shut. Okay, so what I'm talking about here is there is so much pressure. There's so much pressure when a couple gets married. Okay, I didn't finish Hannah's story. Eventually she gave birth to Samuel. Okay, that was one thing. And I was saying, yes, my story, I was talking about when I was actually program director, and I was talking about the story of Hannah and how she went through the pain from Penina. So I was telling the people at this gathering that you are not different from Penina. If you are the person that is constantly asking any couple when they will have children, you are just like Penina. You are causing so much pain. They may not answer. They may joke about it, you know. I know about another lady. She was a pastor's wife. She said at church they were teased. The elders in the church were even calling her husband Abraham, you know. They called her Sarah and they called her Abraham. To them, it became like a joke. But when she shared this with us, she actually said, it was painful. She didn't like it, but she couldn't stop them. So in the same way, the people around us are not going to stop us, but they're in pain. So what I'm saying is that when a couple gets married, shut up. It's not your business. Shut up. Concentrate on your marriage affairs. It's not time for you now to start making this couple uncomfortable. So when people get married, it's not obvious. It's not automatic. Getting pregnant is not automatic. So don't apply pressure. Some people fall pregnant, okay? One night stand. They didn't even intend to get married and they get pregnant, okay? But for some people, it takes a lot of things for them to get married. It takes prayer. It takes medical procedures. And it takes waiting. Some people have waited 10, 15 years, 20 years, and some people have been 50 years, you know. And that's really, it's sad, and my heart really goes out to them. I remember when I just got married and I had gone to this function. So this lady, she happened to be my husband's, I think, cousin, distant cousin, or I don't know what it was, but she was somehow with, I've never seen her again. So I'm not sure that it was a family friend or this lady walked up to me. This is a function. She comes to me. I was wearing a suit, like a two-piece suit, and I had a belt on. She comes to me and said, that was 3 months, mind you, 3 months after my marriage. She says to me, up to now, you're still wearing a belt. You need to start taking off your belt. Hello, who talks like that? You know, I was upset. I was annoyed, but it didn't bother me. I mean, I had just gotten married and I knew what I was doing. But in certain instances, when you do that to people, it is very bad. Today, I would like to meet that woman. I would like to meet that woman. And I don't know whether I would like to give her a piece of my mind, or I would just like to show her that here I am. You know, that is just some of those things that you live with. And you actually look at people and wonder what they want. What do they want to know? Okay, so my point this afternoon reading is that when people get married, it is not automatic that they're going to fall pregnant. For other people, it's a choice. They decide that they're going to wait at least maybe a year. They wait 6 months. They wait a year. They wait 5 years. I mean, it's a different world. People have changed. They are not just getting married to have children. They're getting married and they're feeling, okay, we're going to only have children when we feel settled. That's them. Okay. And with time, then they get to have their children in their own set time, according to them. So it's really none of our business. We shouldn't poke our noses in there. If somebody has a problem, and perhaps if you are very close to this couple and they speak to you about that issue, then be supportive, you know, guide them and, you know, give them advice that is going to help them, but don't make them feel uncomfortable. Don't put pressure, don't apply pressure on people, you know, where children are concerned. Then I met another person who I would like to say a fool, who did the same. Okay, so people would come and they would ask, oh, you guys are married. Okay, our house was looking nice and we had nice seats there and everything was looking good. We hadn't even been married for 6 months. And people were were on our case. Did they expect us to fall pregnant before we got married, or what? Or were they hoping that we were not going to get married? Okay, so they would say things like, this house is so beautiful, but you know, it's a pity there are no children to run around. Hello, it's just been 2 months. What do you want from us? But anyway, I know I'm saying these things so that you can relate. I know that a lot of you have gone through that kind of trouble. Sometimes it's not just friends, the family can kill you when it comes to that. Okay, so the family can come through and call you names. Unfortunately, most families think that when a family can't conceive, it's the wife's problem. Today, I want to tell you that a lot of men have a low sperm count. Okay, so when the couple can't conceive, they always say, oh, it's the woman, it's the woman. No, it's not. It might be that man. Okay, the good news is that most of these issues can be resolved. You need to visit your doctor. I would advise that you see your doctor, let your doctor examine you and let your doctor guide you, let them give you advice on what needs to be done. That is what I would like to advise you. So if you are in a family, or if you are that family member, that is going from one door to the other, knocking and asking people when they will have children. You must stop it, because this is it is very selfish. It is very barbaric. It is very foolish, and it's very painful to the young couple. So you need to leave this young couple to discover themselves, to know themselves, okay? And then from there, when they are in trouble, they will come to you and they will speak to you. Don't greet them with, hey, you haven't gained weight. You know, you people are hurting. You are hurting a lot of people out there, and it's not fair and it is not right. So I would like to caution you on that. So somebody wrote to me and said her mother-in-law was on her case, and she offered, after a while, she kept asking, so when are you having the child? When are you having the child? So she was speaking to the lady. She didn't speak to the husband, because I think everybody feels a man is functioning well all the time. It's not the case. So she pressured this woman, and one day she came and she said they must adopt some children. So she just brought some family members. Okay, you guys can't have children. Here are the children that you're going to take care of. That's not fair. That's not right, you know. So they declined. Okay, they were going to assist those children, yes, but they felt the children were not supposed to be given to them in that manner. So what I would like to encourage you is that if you are in that state, if you are having trouble conceiving, stay away from people that are going to speak to you in a negative way. Stay away from them. I know that sometimes it's family and there's really nothing that you can do, but you can choose not to interact too much with them if they're going to grieve you in that way, okay? And then I would advise you to seek help, okay? Speak to your doctor. Your doctor will definitely have something to advise there. And then there are also other options that are available that you can speak to your doctor about. And between the two of you as a couple, do not accuse each other. One thing that has come out is that the woman is always willing. The woman is willing to go to the hospital. She's willing to get examined, but the man is not willing to get examined, and I don't understand. So when a man refuses to get examined, it raises eyebrows. Does he know something? Okay. Has it been for a test and he knows that he is not going to have children? He's sterile, for instance. So cooperate as a couple. Cooperate as a couple. If you are having trouble, stick together. Okay, go through the pain together. Don't neglect each other. Don't run off. Don't bend to pressure where you find that you are advised to have a child elsewhere. It is not right. Okay. Wait on God. It's difficult to wait in this situation, but I'll still advise that you wait on God. Okay. So there have been other instances, other cases that I've heard about where a doctor actually suggested to this lady, they couldn't have children. Both of them went for the test, and then the man was sterile. She was okay. So he tells her, you can have another child, and then I'll put you on fertility treatment, and then we'll just say that it's his. Who does that? You know. So the good side to the story is that the lady declined, and she felt, look, if I can't have children with my husband, it is fine. Let it be so. And that was the case. So they didn't have children until she went to be with the Lord. So in other cases, we've seen men, the Abraham issue. We have seen men, because they can't have children with the wife, he goes and he tries elsewhere and he has a child, and complications start in the home. So stick together as a couple. If you need to cry, cry together. If you need to visit a doctor, visit the doctor together. That is what is going to work best for you, okay? But I truly pray that the Lord will bless you with the desires of your heart. If you need prayer, you can contact me. I can stand and believe with you. If you need guidance, you can call me. I can still stand and I will pray with you, because I believe that there's nothing that God cannot do. In certain instances, we have prayed. The child hasn't come. Why? I don't know. I don't understand the ways of God. He says, my ways are not like his ways. His ways are higher than mine, so I really don't understand. But what I can just say is, this is what the word says. The word says, if I just believe, if I pray, going to do it. A prayer of agreement is going to be answered. That is just what I know. So, and what I know is that God is the one who gives children. Every child is a gift from God. Okay, so He rewards us with that, and I really don't have an answer why others don't have, children. With that being said, okay, I would like to just encourage everybody to stay prayerful in everything, because and also not just to stay prayerful, to mind who we are associating with, because some of this kind of advice of, go and try this and go and try that is coming from our circles. So depending on who you are mingling with, depending on who you are talking with, you are going to get either wrong advice or you are going to get the good advice from people. Okay. So let me see if I have left out anything. Yeah, I have exhausted everything. And to the couple that is being harassed because they have no children, I sympathize with you, but know that God loves you, and His plans for you are just plans to prosper you, to give you a hope, to give you a future. His plans are always good. Okay, so if anybody comes to you and tells you His plans are not good, that's a lie, because God's plans for us are always good. Okay, so today I have been talking about, if you just joined us, I have been talking about house helpers, a continuation from last week, and I was talking about lobola, something that was going on my page, and I was also talking about pressure when you can't conceive as a couple. Okay, so I just want to have a look at the comments and see if anybody has left anything there for my attention. Okay, Nelly says, I think one can, this is about helpers. So Nelly is saying, I think one can't delegate all the work to the helper. She is not the one in charge, but you are in charge as the woman of the house. It's understandable that women work and get tired, but one has to try. Even cooking, you can't cook. Your house help has to cook for you and your hubby. I think it's not right in my view. Okay, that is Nelly. She says it is not right that somebody must actually do all these things for you. She feels you must be able to cook for yourself. Even if you are working, she says you must try. Yes, I understand that, and I agree that you cannot delegate everything. It's not right for a woman to pay. Okay, now she is responding to the lobola, and she says it's not right for a woman to pay for herself, and I totally agree. Okay, and she goes on to say it's totally a man's responsibility. Okay, welcome. If you've just joined us, we are discussing house helpers. How much work can we delegate to them? And we are also talking about lobola. Is it too high? Is it something that is still important? Can we still ask for lobola as parents? Should a man pay for himself, or should he be assisted? So we've had some interesting answers on that. And lastly, I spoke about pressure when you can't conceive as a couple. Okay, so I spoke about how people are treating this lightly when it's a sensitive matter. And I was encouraging everybody to actually shut up when it comes to, to asking young couples when they're going to have children. It's not our business. Let them decide when they want to have children. If they have a problem, they're going to talk about it. So that is what I was talking about. So from me, I have exhausted what I had for today. I will be back online next week on Wednesday at the same time. So please do join me at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. is 15 hours Central African time. If you are not in my zone, I'm based in South Africa. I'm in Pretoria. So 3 p.m. 15 hours is the time that I'll be online again. If you have any discussion topics that you would like me to attend to, kindly inbox them to me, and I'll be happy to tackle those next time or any other day that I'll come online. And then I would like to talk about our marriage pillar sessions. We have marriage pillar sessions in Pretoria once a month. Marriage Pillar is a platform that was birthed from Titus chapter 2. Titus chapter 2 talks about men being groomed, men being taught to take care of their families and, to take care of their wives and children, and also women being groomed to take care of their families, their homes, not to be, to be drunk with wine, but to love God, to love their husbands, and to love their children. So that is what Marriage Pillar is about. So our next meeting is in Pretoria on the 13th of July. Don't miss this session. Come and join us. We always have a wonderful time with the ladies. And very soon we'll be inviting the men to join us, because it's also important for men to be taught, to be groomed. It's important for men to belong to such platforms, because it's going to really enhance our relationships. So that's it for the July one. In August, we are going to have a couples dinner and workshop in Lusaka, Zambia on the 9th. Yeah, it's on the 9th of August, and that will be in Lusaka. So if you have not reserved a seat yet, kindly do so, because the seats are limited. We don't want to have a crowd. It's not a crusade, and it's not like a Sunday service. This is a workshop, and a workshop requires interaction. It requires feedback, and then question and answer. So we have a limited number of seats that we are giving out to. So if you're interested in the workshop and dinner that will be taking place in Lusaka at Cresta Hotel, kindly inbox me and leave your details. I'll give you more information about that. And then in South Africa, Johannesburg, we have a couples retreat coming up from the 27th of September to the 29th, and that will be in Johannesburg. If you are interested, if you would like more information, kindly inbox me and I'll be happy to give you that. And then I would like to invite you to my YouTube channel. Okay, I would like to invite you to my YouTube channel. I have posted some videos there, and some videos that I have not shared here. So if you would love to listen to them, kindly support me by liking or subscribing to my channel. Okay, so very soon I will actually be having some sessions on YouTube as well, but they will only be available to people that subscribe and people that register for the particular session. So from me, thank you very much. I have had a wonderful time. I trust that you have learned something. I pray that you will continue asking God for wisdom, for knowledge, and for understanding, because we need that in every marriage. A marriage that does not have God as the center usually is a problem. It will bring you so much pain. So I pray that you will find everything that you will need. I promise you, everything that you need is in God. So from me, Francine Chirambo, thank you very much for listening, and let's talk some loving.